is sifting down. The H4s, Alexander Gritsch, Ulysses Leo Freitas, Samus Wall, Arkadiusz Rybinski, Rafael Wilk, Barend Butsia and Gijsie van der Niet. Now the H4s, gold medal in the time trial went to Rafael Wilk from Poland, multiple world champion and also 2012 Paralympic champion. Then Rybinski won the silver for Poland, and Austria's Alexander Gritsch, he got the bronze medal, the last step on the podium just yesterday in the time trial. Starters now got control of the 7 races in H4. So the start then, men's H4, it's Gritsch, Leo Freitas, Walls, Rybinski, Wilk, Kutsia and van der Niet. They start in 2-minute intervals, so next up it's the H5s and 4 riders competing here. South Africa's Arends van Dijk, the gold medalist in the time trial yesterday, silver medalist Luis Miguel Costa and bronze medalist South Africa's Andri Skeepers, and Simon Makubela is the 4th rider in the group. They now approach the start line too. It'll be very difficult to see how Van Dijk could be beaten. The 10 times Boston Marathon champion is in prolific form at the moment. Has said though that the hand cycle's been quite a change for him, because remember he was racing in Boston and London in his wheelchair. Got nabbed for first place by Kurt Fernley from Australia on the line in Boston, and then finished outside the top 5, finishing 6th in London, and again got outkicked in the last few 100 yards. Starters orders, and they are away. Costa, Makubela, Skeepers and Van Dijk, 3 South Africans and the lone Portuguese rider in there. Costa with a very good performance yesterday in the time trial. Skeepers and Van Dijk. So Skeepers keeping as close as what he can to the big hulking man from the Western Cape. And this is where Van Dijk immediately will start making it difficult for them. On the uphills is where he is extremely strong. Loves it when it's hilly. Spoke to him yesterday, he says the more up and down it is, the better. Meanwhile, it's the H4s on their way, and back at the finish line, it's the H3s who line up. There's 8 races here. Walter Ablinger, the silver medalist from the time trial yesterday, Diego Ballesteros Cucuril, the bronze medalist, Jose Maria Calvo Laito, from Spain, Declan Slevin from Ireland, Edward Malu from Liberia, Samuel Erasmus from South Africa, Stuart McCready, the gold medal winner in the time trial, and the other South African, Nick Whiting. So they're also underway. So men's H3, 4 and 5 have departed. McCready right in the middle there. Had a stellar performance yesterday in the time trial. Really was in a class of his own, was dominant in the TT yesterday. One long line as the men's H3 through to 5 get underway. McCready trying to just settle in the middle there. Arblinger taking it out hard, and ditto for Ballesteros and Calvo Laita. Surprisingly, Van Dijk still has company. Portuguese rider still with him, and his South African compatriot skippers as well. They have dropped predictably Mokaba. He's not quite in this league yet. H3s making their way up this first long hill. Being led predictably by Walter Arblinger, wanting to take the sting out of Stuart McCready. Just the 4 riders there now at the back here. It's Declan Slevin from Ireland. So McCready right in the thick of things there too. But it is Austria's Walter Arblinger who is doing all the pace making up front there. Is on the white helmet of Nick Whiting from South Africa. This is a nice long sweeping downhill. Gives you an opportunity to get your breath back after quite a climb. Jose Maria Calvo Laita, Spaniard, trying to go well enough to make his way into the paracycling team in September in Rio. wanting to catch the eye of the selectors. Early days still in the H3, 4 and 5 races. This is the fastest part of the route. They go down there at more than 70, 80 k's an hour. It's the H4s who got away 2 minutes before the H3s and then the 5s. It's very fast down there. That's Alexander Gritsch, the time trial bronze medalist. So here come the H4 leaders. They're making their way through for their first lap. All of these riders have to complete almost 50 kilometers of racing, 8 laps worth. So the world champion up at the front there. Rafał Wilk, and then right in the slipstream, Arkadiusz Lipinski. The two Polish riders piling on the pressure, and they've gone away from the South African, Barend Coetzee. Interesting to see exactly what his countryman is doing, Lipinski, because Wilk is setting the pace in that distinctive rainbow colors of the world champion, and his countryman is drafting off him and trying to save as much energy as he possibly can. So, Austria's Alex Gritsch, but he's lost contact. Here's Van Dijk though, still got company, Luis Miguel Costa, and right behind him, Andries Schippers. Gijsy van der Niet, the South African, who in January celebrated his 46th birthday. Brazil's Ulysses Leo Freitas. So Van Dijk, with all three men in tow, clocks 10 minutes and 50 seconds for his first lap. He's certainly attacking the Portuguese rider and his countryman. Costa and Schippers will be feeling it. So Rafał Wilk making the pace in the H4s. is the 2015 World Time Trial Champion and also the defending Paralympic champion in the category. Be a tough man to beat in the H4s. Coetzee coming through our shot in the colours of South Africa. He's 52 years old this year, Coetzee. The H3s locked in combat, the top four, and not much to choose there at the moment. Not much to choose between those front four men. Declan Slevin, we can see there. South Africa's Stuart McCready turning up the heat. That's by Esteros Cucurul, the man from Spain. Flying down past the start-finish complex. Van Dijk on lap 2 of 8, and still he has Costa with him and Skeppers. So the threesome up front in the men's H5 category. Van Dijk, who celebrated his 43rd birthday in April, in fact the 4th of April. Van Dijk, of course, won Olympic gold, Paralympic gold at the 2008 Games. 10 shining victories at the Granddaddy Marathon of the Mall de Boston, New York, where he's clinched 2 victories, and in Paris, where he's got 1. Last year's Pietermaritzburg round of the UCI Paracycling Road World Cup. Van Dijk made many South African hearts beat custard when he won in the H5 road race and also got a bronze medal in the time trial. Yesterday went 2 better than that, got himself the time trial gold. Here he is now locked in battle with a man who got the silver, Luis Miguel Costa. Jose Maria Calvo Lainto, Spain. And HANDCYCLE's circling continuously, making sure that there are no troubles back there. So Skeppers, has he lost contact here on this hill? It looks like it. It looks like Van Dijk's continuous surging has dropped his compatriot Skeepers already. Yeah. Costa takes a look back to see what's happened. The hard work all the way up the grinding hill here. Van Dijk goes wide. That's quite interesting because he's let Costa come through to take a little bit of a look at the lead there. Also had a long hard look over his left shoulder to see exactly where. Here's another increase in pace from Van Dijk. He's relentless. Getting back his breath. And now a little bit of slipstreaming from the Portuguese rider. Fascinating duel this. So, multiple champion Raphael Wilk makes his way through there, drops his bottle, looking for another one obviously, and the gold medalist from the time trial, Poland's Wilk, flying along there, taking no prisoners. The rainbow jersey denotes the current world champion, and you can only wear the jersey in the particular discipline if you won it in this discipline. Can't wear it in any other race outside of the particular discipline that you won that rainbow jersey for. We believe Arkadiusz Sapinski has already also come through. There he is. So they were riding together on the previous lap, but it was eventually and predictably Wilk that went away. That's the Brazilian rider, Ulysses Leal Freitas. He'll know exactly what the conditions will be like in Rio de Janeiro in September for the Paralympic Games. Van Dijk now. Look at how quickly they'll be going down here. Skeepers, who's lost contact. This is where they reach speeds of up to 70 kilometers an hour. Our cameraman was saying it is frightening how quickly these racers can attack that downhill into the start-finish area. That's Gijsie van der Niet. So that looks like third place in the H4s for the meantime. Just remember, things can change rather quickly in this format of racing. The bronze medalist from the time trial yesterday on this very self-same circuit. H5s. Van Dijk. Costa right behind him, still hasn't lost contact, and Van Dijk is throwing everything at him and then HANDCYCLE in the bronze medal position at the moment. In fact, he's closed the gap a little. He's worked really hard on the second part of the course. They dropped him on the uphill. Will they do the same thing to him again? Remember, very soon they make that left turn, then the right turn, and they make their way back up the hill. Look at that. Skippers has closed the gap. I know Television 4 shortens it a little, but he has indeed got right back up to the wheel now. Very impressive. Van Dijk, who lives in the Paarl area in the Western Cape. Some lovely roads to train on, and he's one of their favourite sons in that part of the world. Van der Niet. That looks like South Africa's Stuart McCready, it is. And he's tying one on with the silver medalist from the time trial yesterday, the man who lost out to him, Walter Abliger. This is in the H3 category. So the gold and the silver medal continues unabated between these two. Yesterday McCready was able to pull one off. Can he do the same again, twice in a row? Declan Slevin and Edward Marloff, the two riders who just rode into your picture there. Slevin from Ireland, Liberia's Marloff. Marloff raced here last year. This is in the H3 category. They'll have an eye on a bronze medal here, wanting to pick up a few pieces perhaps in the last few laps. All of the racers out there on the route now, facing down 50 kilometers of racing. It's a tough proposition. Diego Ballesteros, a name of course made very famous in golf by the one and only Severiano Ballesteros. Long will he be remembered. Simon Makubela, he's in fourth at the moment in the H5 category. Spain's Ballesteros. He's 32 years old this year. In fact, 14th of March. Celebrated the big day. Certainly will be looking at selection for the Paralympics in September. That's HANDCYCLE from South Africa. Route now dry, and I'm saying dry only because it's not raining at the moment. It certainly isn't dry out there. The world champion, Rafa Wilk. Meanwhile, HANDCYCLE, he turns hard left through the 90-degree turn and now up the hill. Markedly slows down. It does not look like that sharp a hill on your screen, but trust me, it is. South Africa's Nick Whiting. So in the meantime though, it is Rafa Wilk who has a very, very comfortable lead in the H4s. Riders have been going for a half an hour now. Going extremely quickly is Jose Maria Calvo Laito. So in the H3 category, it is Edward Monov. He's ahead of Declan Slevin and Walter Obliger. Nick Whiting at the moment in the 4th place there. Ah, he can still give us a wave. It's impressive. That's Arkadiusz Lipinski. Polish rider, he's in 2nd at the moment to his compatriot Wilk, and this is in H4. Is Sam Erasmus from South Africa. The 34-year-old, well, he turns 34 in a month's time. Ah, this is an interesting move now. It's Luis Miguel Costa who's decided to take the lead. And Van Dijk is sitting in his slipstream now. In the first 4 laps, it was Van Dijk who made, or the first 3 laps rather, it was Van Dijk who's making the pacing as they now go on to the 4th lap. Erasmus from South Africa. too far behind him. Alvo Leita from Spain. The Brazilian, Leal Freitas, still in with a shot at a podium place in H4. So, lap times of 10 minutes and 40 seconds for the Portuguese, locked in very serious battle with South Africa's Ernst van Dijk. Cat and mouse they're playing at the moment. Skeppers lost a significant amount of contact there on that lap. They come through next, they would have reached the halfway mark. Skippers, and this time it looks like they finally have broken him back at the start line. That's Stuart McCready from South Africa, gold medal winner. He's got Harblinger with him for company. So there's some serious racing happening out there today. Was gold yesterday in the individual time trial, and he relegated Walter Harblinger from Austria to the second step on the podium. Van Dijk is putting on the pressure here on the uphill. Look at that. He's trying to milk it, and there's a little bit of a gap. Van Dijk has succeeded now. Can he make it stick? Ernst van Dijk, 10 times Boston Marathon winner. He's going to be piling on the speed and the power up the hill here now. He's got Luis Miguel Costa in a little spot of bother. And if he can break that imaginary string, then he'll be away. Hard thing to do, because the Portuguese rider is a man known for his mental and physical strength. Skippers. He's now significantly been left behind, but got the bronze yesterday in the time trial, should be able to do that again, all things being equal, and mechanical failure of any sort, lest I attempt it, I shouldn't even say it, lest it leaves him alone. Declan Slevin at the back there now, and he's riding it out with Edward Marloff. That's probably where the bronze medal race will happen. The Brazilian Ulysses Leal Freitas, born in September of 1979 he was, meanwhile back to the world champion Rafa Wilk. That is Ballesteros, of course, from Spain. He clinched the bronze medal in the TT. So again, it's worth mentioning, after the time trial yesterday, some of these bodies will be sore. Some of them will also be battling a little bit of jet lag. There's Wolf, rainbow colours, proud on his chest. Polish rider threw away his bottle earlier and has taken a long hard drink here now and pops the bottle back down again. Tell you what, the man who handed him the bottle did a great job. That is an absolute art form. You have to know exactly where to hold it. Could hurt your rider in the process if you don't do it right. Walk with a big lead here now in the men's H4 race. So again, on behalf of the UCI as well as all our other sponsors and the city of Pietermaritzburg, if you perhaps just logged on, hello and welcome. It's wonderful to say that to you because we really are proud of what Pietermaritzburg has achieved when it comes to cycling over the last few years. In fact, it has become the cycling capital of the continent. So some really wonderful things happening here in Maritzburg. And when it comes to cycling, there isn't a better hub than the capital of KwaZulu-Natal. So to update you on the Paracycling Road World Cup, there's 3 races on the go at the moment. If you perhaps just switched on, the men's H5s, and that's where this man is racing, South Africa's HANDCYCLE. The men's H4s on the go too. Rafa Wolf is the man who leads there. And then in the men's H3, it's very, very tough racing out there too at the moment, but it's Walter Obliger, the Austrian, who is leading there. So in the meantime, what is coming up a little later, after that we'll have all our prize givings for the earlier races. That'll be H1, 2 and 3, and then the T1s and 2s, and then our prize giving for H3, 4 and 5, and that will happen from 11:30 or 40 onwards. Look at the big gap that Van Dijk has now built. Very big gap indeed. My word, he's left the Portuguese rider way back in his slipstream. Van Dijk is flying. I'll tell you what the difference is here. He was logging around about 10 minutes and 40 seconds per lap. But this one is the one where he threw down the gauntlet, halfway coming up, and here is the big man coming through now. He's going to be coming through and around that corner in the next few seconds, so Van Dijk really did step it up there on that fourth lap. Halfway mark approaching. Remember, they are racing 50 kilometers. So Van Dijk now, it's going on to 9 minutes and 51, 52 seconds. So he stepped this up by a good 40 seconds. That's why he was able to break the Portuguese rider on that lap. So Van Dijk with a significant break there, and look at that, he has left his man by 40 odd seconds in that one lap. That is a very impressive move from the big man from the gate. So Luis Miguel Costa, we knew that the move was going to come up the hill, just didn't realize it was going to be quite so impressive, and a move that would stick so significantly. Now he's got the bit between his teeth. He's now very tough to beat. Once he's got his nose in front, the big man is almost unstoppable. Ask them at the 10 Boston Marathons that he's won. Well, it's nice to have Briseau Boshoff from Cycling South Africa with us. Good to have you with us, Briseau. Thanks for popping in. Weather slightly better out there than what it was earlier, or not?
Yeah, I'm glad the rain stopped a bit. I think it makes it is quite hard, so
it has been very tough for the riders. Luckily, as Briseau says, it has slowed down a little. Now, from your point of view, you guys must look at this and just go, feels like we've arrived.
Yeah, it's always the event in KZN, it's always a good success, and you know, the guys here really put up a great show, and close to, I mean, it's international standard. But today it's not more spectators, but I think the weather is a big role to play in that.
So from what you've seen so far, and where Cycling South Africa is at the moment, happy with everything that you've seen? There's nothing that you can point fingers at. It looks from our point of view too, from a television and broadcast point of view, like they've got a finger on the pulse of everything.
Absolutely. You know, we've had the selection races for the junior and the junior men and girls over this weekend, and the circuit has obviously showed us exactly what we're looking for. It's fast, the timing has been good, the broadcasting has been good. You know, as long as the parents can see their kids on TV, they're happy.
Let's talk about that for a second, and without wanting to blow our bugle too much, what the heck, let's blow our own bugle. Streamer 360 have stepped in and have become the official partner of Cycling South Africa when it comes to the broadcasting to a great degree. And as we take a look at Van Dijk here powering along, he's really got the bit between his teeth now. And if we take a look at the rest of the field as well, they're going along very nicely. But the streaming just gives one such a very, very large audience worldwide. And that is a magnificent thing to be able to exploit.
You know, it's like, for instance, the one race that the guys had at the cross-country race in August, right? The coverage of that was really nice, and you had guys in the studio that really told the story. And I was in Nelspruit and I was glued to my phone for the duration of the race, and it just makes it. We don't get a lot of live television, especially for our local races. And with this avenue, it's amazing. You know, so it's easy to select riders. You know, we can see what's really happening at the race, not just the highlight package. It doesn't tell a story.
From your point of view, again, just describe to us how you feel about where cycling is in South Africa at the moment. And I'd like you to kind of take us through virtually everything: BMX, the mountain bikers, and the road.
You know, we had a very fragile stage at this stage. We there's not a lot of money coming into the sport. The sponsors that we've got, it's guys that's really committed and they've got a passion for the game. We've got a lot of youngsters, a lot of talent out there, but the big struggle at the moment is finding them a bridge to get to Europe. And Dimension Data has obviously done that. Dougie Ryder has done a lot of good work in creating that bridge. But that's a bridge for the road guys. The mountain bikers, there's a lot of guys that really struggle to what, and I get asked this question often by parents. What must my kid do next year? Must he go and study? Must he try for a year in Europe? And that obviously studying to get something behind their name is important, but the pie is it's actually gotten smaller, and there's just more people eating from the pie, and so there's definitely challenges as far as funding is concerned, and where we're going to get these guys, give them the opportunity. And then development is a massive issue, because you can't just go into a township and give folks 10 bikes. We all know what it costs to race weekend in and out, so that is a massive issue. And there's very nice developmental programs, like the guys from Deep Stewart Academy, and they're doing a lot for it, but I still think we need more, really need more.
Indeed. And of course then, just to top it all, the rand is not exactly looking good against the dollar, and let's not even talk about the euro.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is the same guys, everyone wants to get to Europe, but it's once you're there, you're really going to drink water. Well, you have to pay for the water.
Rice, bread and water, and even that you have to pay for. So we've seen some really fine racing. Are you impressed with the amount of medal hauls that the South Africans have been able to clinch so far?
It's been amazing. I mean, yesterday, in the afternoon already, I think we were over 5 gold medals. But I mean, just to speak to some of these athletes and spend a bit of time with them, they're amazing.
They are indeed. I'm always very wary that one doesn't build that up too much and at the same time not too little. You cannot say enough about the courage of these athletes and how they go about their business, can you?
Yeah, they're so independent. Some of the guys get here, to see them warm up, and coming from the background where I come from, and to see that these guys, they just do it exactly the way we used to do it, and it's still getting done, and you can see the level of professionalism in some of them is amazing, and it's like their disability is like
almost non-existent.
Yeah, they're just so brave.
Yeah, no, I agree completely with that. And by the way, talking about that kind of thing, there is someone who's really good at doing exactly that, Declan Slevin. And right behind him, it's Edward Marloff. They've been racing like that, virtually wheel to back wheel, all the way around their first 5.5 odd laps. So there's Simon Makrobeka, and he too is a very solid one. I'm impressed with him, because even from what we saw yesterday, he looks like he's a better racer today than what he was yesterday. So learning a heck of a lot out there is Simon, and the South African is competing in the H4 category. Let's talk for a second about Van Dijk. He has been, you probably want to slap me for saying this, but he's probably been the poster boy of the sport in South Africa for the last 10, 12 odd years. And because he has been so good at it, I think he's brought along so many others, hasn't he?
No, I think he's just been an idol for everyone, for able riders, disabled riders. He's never really dropped the ball. He's been going at it for years and years, and it seems like his age doesn't apply to him. He seems to be getting stronger and stronger as the years go by.
He does, definitely. He gets kicked slightly more here now in his old age, and it's another thing he's probably going to slap me for. But the fact of the matter is, the guy is as strong as a horse, and I agree with you, he has got stronger as age has gone by. But one of the things you said there that is impressive for me is he's never dropped the ball. Ernst has these glorious sports awards and all the other awards, this list as long as your and my arm put together. He has been just impeccable in doing this sport and South Africa as a whole a big favour by being the man that he is.
We need people like that, for firstly to get the youngsters to get into the sport, and then potential sponsors. People want to invest in something like this, and especially because this guy just gives so many people hope, where other guys just take it and say, feel sorry for themselves. These guys are just, they get out there and they fight every day.
Well, here is Van Dijk fighting every day. There's 3 of those traffic calming hubs. He was telling me that the one coming up now, this is probably the toughest of the 3 of them. He says he hit this yesterday at just slightly the wrong angle, and he actually took off at 65 k's now. He said it was a little unsettling, to use his words. So here he is on his way into the finish line. If I'm not mistaken, this would be lap 5 at the moment completed, and 3 more to go. Here he goes via the man that started with him, Simon Makobela. He's just lapped the man who actually started with him early on. That's the man who chased him hard, Luis Miguel Costa. And going through the start-finish line one more time. This lap was just 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, he says 3 to go, is it? And I confirm that from the left-hand side. Unbelievably strong character. Often that upper body could be out of a comic book with a superhero of some sort. He really is a magnificent specimen. Let's talk in general about next year. Next year this becomes the World Championships, and it's I think if I'm not mistaken, Alec Inferno, the organizer, said that this would be the 9th World Cup or Championship event staged in Maritzburg. Maritzburg has become the hub of cycling on the continent.
Look, I think Alec, with his experience working with the UCI, he knows how to put up a show, and he's been doing it for so long that if you look at the standard of his races, national championship was there in Wartburg, together with the para racing that was on. It's always the same. There's never any glitches. If there's glitches, I think it's because he's so big. People just tend to steer it away from the public eye, but yeah, he does put up a great show.
Yeah, Inferno didn't play up there in the oven in the scrum for nothing. He's a big lad, and I don't think you want to cross his path if you can help it, nor do you want to cross this man's path. Just took a split on what happened in that last lap between him and Costa, and believe it or not, in a lap and a half, he's put 61 seconds into this fellow. So Luis Miguel Costa, try as he might, he held on for as long as he could, but when Van Dijk put the hammer down, it was blow out the back, and that was that. The Portuguese rider is gone. But 61 seconds in arrears in just a matter of 8 kilometers, so that is just phenomenal. Well, Rousseau, thanks so much for popping in with us. We wish you guys the best of luck, and thanks for your time. You've been watching and listening to Rousseau Bossa from Cycling South Africa. Enjoy the rest of the time with us here in Maritzburg.
Thanks a lot.
So, Rousseau Bossa, our in-studio visitor. We'll have a few more of those during the rest of the day, and if you've perhaps just sat down and logged on wherever you are, hello and welcome. This is Ernst Van Dijk. He has 2.5 laps to go in the H5 men's road race at the UCI Paracycling Road World Cup in Pietermaritzburg, coming to you live from South Africa. And to also tell you that there's a lot of other racing on the go at the moment too. This is South Africa's Stuart McCready, who is just stuck right there behind the man in front of him, and he's done an incredible job of just holding on there as hard as what he possibly could. Walter Ablinger is the man who won the silver medal yesterday. It was McCready who got the gold in the time trial, and it is McCready again who's just holding on there and seeing how long he can stick, and then perhaps kick towards the finish line on the last lap. The next of the hand cycles, HANDCYCLE. Skippers, who races in the H5 category. spent a little bit of time chatting with him yesterday as well. He is a big fan of Arends van Dyk and says that he always learns when he spends time with him. So our chair is empty at the moment, but we will get one or two more people in to come and share their expertise with you live here from Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. "75 athletes from 17 nations and some of the finest paracycling races from right around the globe have converged on Pietermaritzburg, and surprisingly for this time of the year, a rather cool, wet and overcast in Maritzburg it is, the capital of KwaZulu-Natal. So, the Portuguese rider Luis Miguel Costa is in arrears by more than 60 seconds and probably losing more time as we sit and watch. You'll know that he's been in a race because Van Dyk took it out from the word go. Then on lap 3, let the Portuguese lead for a little while, or maybe the Portuguese rider decided that he wanted to see whether Van Dyk was strong or not, but I think he found that out in the meantime. In the H3s, it's Edward Maloff, Declan Slevin and Walter Avlinger and Nick Whiting going quite nicely as well at the very same time. Brazil's Ulysses Leal Freitas Brazilian, still up there with a shot at a medal, a podium position. Number 76, Gijsie van der Liet, there with a shot at a medal, a podium position. Number 76, Gijsie van der Liet. Man was born in 1982 and quite clearly really enjoying his morning out there. For many South Africans, this has been a first opportunity to take part in a World Cup, and they would certainly be enjoying the privilege. Costa. More than a minute behind a flying Arends van Dyk. Back to Erasmus, who's got a very nice rhythm going as well. Past that technical zone. That's there for in case riders may have any sort of mechanical dramas whatsoever. Edward Maloff, the man leading through there, and Declan Slevin in the thick of things up. Cameraman's telling us that that lens has got wet, so he's just drying that off, making sure that your pictures wherever you are around the globe are as good as we can possibly get them for you here on Stream at 360. Those big powerful shoulders slinging that wheel around, trying to get as much speed out of that as he can. So Molov together with Slivin, number 63 and 64. They've been like that all race long. Van Dijk. This lap now 10 minutes 20, 21, 22, 23 seconds. He has been very consistent except for that fourth lap where he made the break, and that was a lap of under 10 minutes. Van Dijk in a class of his own here again. Has now been racing for just more than 63 minutes, so very consistently clocking around about 10 minutes or thereabouts for every one of his laps. That's Simon Makubela. The only way that you can see that Van Dijk goes uphill is that the upper body movement becomes slightly more. Well, what is clear is that Van Dijk has pulled out even more of a gap on his nearest competitor, Luis Miguel Costa. It was 61 seconds at the last lap. Now it's already past the 90-second mark. So Van Dijk putting even more time into the man. 1:41. In the meantime, a big battle between Stuart McCready and Walter Avlinger continues. They battled like this yesterday for the time trial gold medal, and today it is for the road race title. There we go. Is this the break that McCready is looking for? Saw that happening as we just cut away from him. McCready swung out to the right, and right on that start-finish line area, decided to put the hammer down. Simon Makubela. A man with a load of talent, quite clearly. Well, look at that. Avlinger has worked his way back again. The South African's not going to have it all his own way. He looks across, and I would imagine he's rather alarmed at that, because he had quite a significant gap, a good 40 to 50 meters, and all of a sudden Avlinger is right back there again. So the This is HANDCYCLE from South Africa. Trying to ride in the middle of the road, on the crown of the road in most of the cases, because that way there's not that much water. Oh, look at how he took off over that speed bump.
Wait.
Makubela. Just turned 30 at the beginning of the year. So loads of time there to become even better skippers. Skipper's working hard now on that little climb. In fact, I say a little climb, I'm not doing it all the riders any fairness or justice. It certainly isn't a little climb, it's an exacting climb. It's not a big climb in the greater scheme of things, but it's one of those that throws your momentum and your rhythm. After this, it'll be the awards ceremonies for H1, 2, 3 and T1 and 2. World champion comes through here now. Raphael Wilk in the H4 category. Utterly dominant. Paralympic champion, World Cup champion, world champion on the road and the time trial. Also got the bell for his last lap. And wearing that rainbow jersey with distinction. That was Nick Whiting, the South African. Right up there in the top 5 in the men's H3 race. And as we watch Van Dijk on the way down there now, putting the finishing touches to a fine race and being chased down by Arkadiusz Lipinski. Just to update you again on the 4 impairments groups in paracycling. The first one is neurological impairments with either central or peripheral damage, either congenital or acquired. Locomotor is the second category. That includes amputations as defined in the sports classes, limb deficiencies and limb length differences, or impaired muscle power, or impaired passive joint range of motion, or a multiple impairment that led to a permanent and verifiable activity limitation. And then the category 3 spinal cord lesions and category 4 visual impairments. And remember that these athletes get, if you like, for lack of a better term, adjudicated ever so often to make sure that there isn't a degradation of whatever affliction there is. And the medical commission keeps a very clear check on that indeed. Declan Slevin and Edward Marlow, 63 and 64 here. There has not been a change in that at all between those two. They've been going at it hammer and tongs all morning long. Right, so Van Dijk finishing touches to his race. He's been utterly dominant throughout. Had company for the first 3 or 4 laps, but here he is now clocking 10 minutes, 14, 15, 16 odd seconds for his last lap. Van Dijk absolutely powering along. No one anywhere near him. Oh, trouble here. That is unfortunate for Gijsie van der Net. Wonder what the problem was, but look at that. There's the spirit of this event. That's the Portuguese team manager there on the left-hand side who helped out one of the South Africans. Bet you they'll talk about that one tonight around the braai fires. And for those of you watching from overseas, a braai in South African terms is what the rest of the world would call a barbecue. Open fire, beautiful pieces of meat. You can't do that without at least having a golden amber liquid in the hand as well at the same time. Arkadiusz Lipinski and Ernst van Dijk racing together. Lipinski has now been holding on there behind him for a while. You'll get a good draft like that as well. And no, I'm not talking about beer. Van Dijk is trying to pull away there too now. Those are the traffic calming humps as you come into the last 500 meters up to the finish line here. Van Dijk has one more lap to go. That still happens to be Declan Slevin and Edward Marlow. Slevin, the Irish rider, and Liberia's Marlow, the man who raced here last year. still in the category H3, Stuart McCready and Walter Ablinger. They've hardly been apart. There was a little break where the South African was able to go away for a second or two, but Ablinger again closed that gap. Marlow and Slevin, they've also been locked in exactly the same kind of a battle. Look at that. 2 minutes and 40 odd seconds now is what Van Dijk has been able to put into Luis Miguel Costa, the Portuguese rider. It's grown almost by a minute with every lap. Almost hypnotic rhythm of Declan Slevin, the Irish rider. And the Lebanese Edward Marlow. Diego Ballesteros, we haven't seen the man from Spain for a while. But he has 6 kilometers to go, and then he'll be able to put the wrapping around this present. Had a very good performance today. Paced himself extremely well, very consistent lap times. The Lebanese rider keying off the Irishman in front of him. Almost 50 kilometers of racing for all these athletes on the route at the moment. They started exactly an hour and 20 minutes ago. Jose Maria Calvo Laita, that's the second Spaniard in the men's H3. So Rafa Wilk is the man who clinches the men's H4 title. The world champion, Paralympic champion and World Cup road champion comes across to win it in just a tad over 1 hour and 21 minutes. Absolutely dominant from the word go. Took the lead and just never looked back. And a highly impressive performance from Wilk, the Polish rider. Polish teammates on the right hand side there, all smiles, very happy with that performance. So it's Van Dijk as well. Van Dijk coming across the line. No, I beg your pardon, that's Schippers. So Schippers completes his second to last lap. Van Dijk, of course, should be about 3 minutes down the road from here. But a really good performance too from Schippers. That's Jan Andries. Back to Rafael Wilk. Schippers for the last time up the hill here now. And then Simon Makubela. Makubela has got 2 more laps to go. He was lapped by Van Dijk just a while ago. Now Van Dijk, top part of the course, if you like, the back stretch. He really is an animal in that chair of his. Never say die attitude, a big heart and a brain that overrides the pain. That's Alexander Gritsch. So Gritsch is next across the line. A superb finish from him in
Fases.
the H4 category. Look at how quickly Van Dijk is going down here. More than 60 kilometers an hour. Flying down to the finish line now. The last of the speed ups, that's the sharpest of the whole lot. He calmly negotiates that. Look at how he cuts the apex of the corner. The ultimate professional racer, a man who's made his living on the international circuit for many years now, and how nice it is for him to win 2 in a row here in South Africa. 1 last year, and now it's a big win for Van Dijk. 10 minutes and 8 seconds for that lap, second fastest lap of the day, and you may just as well have called that a time trial as well. Van Dijk was imperious in his win today. Adam's New Beauty, gold in the time trial, gold in the road race. Superb work by our camera bike as well, all the way in. I hope Arends doesn't go to the loo. 1 hour and 26 minutes of racing now gone. That is for the men who started right up at the front, the H4s. So the racing continues unabatedly, and you really want to see some great stories and hear some incredible stories of human endurance and withstanding pain, coming back from adversity. This is where you'll find it. 7. That's Nick Whiting from South Africa. Getting some valuable World Cup experience. Well, there we go. McCready has made his way to the front there. He was able to get away. So Stuart McCready looks like he got the win in the men's H3. He won the time trial title yesterday, and Walter Ablinger had to settle for silver. It looks like it was a repeat of that again. So we hear from the finish line area that Luis Miguel Costa is coming through now. That's the Brazilian. Ulysses Leal Freitas racing up at the front of the H4 category. That's Eblinger. And Eblinger, I tell you, he must have had some sort of technical or mechanical there of sorts, because he did have a problem about 3 laps ago. And that's where Stuart McCready got a little break on him. But got a significant break on him here on the last lap, and a lap that really, really counts. Even the birds are so cold that they're not going anywhere today. Still not warmed up in the least here in Pietermaritzburg. It's still cold, to be honest. I was going to use the term cool, but it's now actually become quite cold. So 90 minutes worth of racing gone, and the 3 categories have all had their winners. Van Dijk wins the H5s. Rafael Woku won the H4s, and Stuart McCready from South Africa produces a 2nd gold medal in as many days in the H3 road race. The awards ceremony will start relatively soon, and that's the award ceremony for H1, 2 and 3, T1 and 2, and then H4 and 5. This afternoon, G3 will be the timed individual road race, as well as C1s through to 5 and women's C4 and 5.
Let's wait, there's a bicycle coming. Right, it's clear.
Nick Whiting. Far side of the course now. Luckily he's got some downhill from here. Remember that this route at the 3 kilometer mark has got its toughest little hill. The last few steps on the podium being filled in H3, 4 and 5.